It's Peasant's podcast number 2, broadcasting to you, February 14th, 2019. It's Thursday again. There was a snow day again yesterday, and tonight I'm going off to the concert. I'm going to see LP. Another beautiful day. Welcome to my podcast. I said welcome to my podcast. Friends, family, strangers, YouTube, whoever meanders on in. So today on the agenda, I have an outline. I came a little bit more prepared this week. So I have an outline of what I will be going over in my podcast, as well as I have a couple topics today, and we'll have some fun in between, and don't worry, it's not going to be too heavy. So, obviously I realize that I am a small ripple in a very big pond, and I'm not going to be shattering any walls, probably, or, saving the world through this podcast. It's just to have fun, create open discussion, and a little food for thought for everybody. So, the first thing, number 1 on the list, is promote positivity. For me, it's a quest to understand the world, understand how things work, dig past the surface, find answers from what is our soul, what is God, what is the devil, why is there so much despair, why are so many people on antidepressants, so I'll be covering just about everything, and there's no judgment here towards anybody, and this is an open forum, so if anybody wants to drop a comment in the comments, wants to hit me up on Facebook if you know me personally, go ahead and do so. I'm open to discuss any topic. So discuss pretty much everything under the sun. So some of the topics I'll get into, mild politics. Now I say mild because my interest is the game, not the players. So I'm interested in the people around the Prime Minister and the cabinet. I'm interested in around the people around Trump, So I'm not interested in going back and forth on discussing, too heavily politics. I like to figure out how we came to this point more than figuring out what we do at this point, because as some people know, a lot of this information's only released years later, so we don't get the full story, even if we want to speculate and argue back and forth. So the second thing, music and art, obviously, that's my passion. So I'll be discussing my music and art, obviously, as well as others. I plan on 2 bands a week. I'll throw in a shout out to, and talk a bit about a song of theirs. Religion. So religion, I'll discuss more what we know, what we don't, and how it relates to us that don't follow religion, because as you must be aware, whether you're a religious person, there are a lot of religious powers in the world, let's just say. So this does affect all of us. Um, Conspiracies. Now, just the word, I know people are just gonna roll their eyes and hear right away. I know that's my reaction all the time. Like, oh, geez, here we go. But um, I think none of us have the full story, and none of us are neither completely incorrect or correct. So I think there's bits to be learned um, of any topic, and if you don't look into it and try to pick apart what is the truth out of everything, I think you're limiting yourself a bit. So some of the topics we'll brush on is, but limited to, and maybe I'll get into other things, or maybe I won't get into some of these topics at all. But it's just to give you an idea of nothing is not on the table. So aliens, giants, angels, spirits, secret societies, like Illuminati, Freemasons, the pyramids and other ancient sites, New World Order, mythology, astrology. I'll even brush on flat Earth. It's kind of, let's just say, that was create. Now we'll get into that at some point. I'll discuss world experiences and views. So my experience of going to other countries and seeing how other people live and stuff. I think until you're actually there, for a lot of people, they don't get a chance to go to other countries and experience poverty, like real poverty. You see it on TV, you hear about it, but it's not the same. So I will discuss also ancient civilizations. So stuff like Egypt, Peru, Easter Island, the ending of the last ice age, the catastrophe that may have caused it, and the recovery and power struggle that ensued from that. That has brought us to this point today. Now, I don't know if this is just a new learning for us, that there was a catastrophe, no doubt, and there was a flood, no doubt, and that 12,000 years ago. If you look up, I'll suggest Graham Hancock, as well as Brian Forrester. He's a really good one to look into some of this stuff. Spirituality, energy, what different energies, what is our soul essentially, and different frequencies. I also discuss some health issues lightly, better living, so just small things like life hack type things, that just small things that we could keep in mind to help ourselves out, as well as help the planet and everything. It's just life hacks and environment. So by this point, you must be saying, how does all this involve me? I'm happy working my job, or semi-happy or whatever, or going to school, and I enjoy the world we live in, and I don't want to think of any of this stuff. Most of this stuff you're like, conspiracies, all this stuff, why does it concern me? What difference does it make even if I understand the greater meaning and workings of life? Most of this doesn't affect our daily lives. We have our own problems to worry about, and we'd rather watch TV or Netflix or YouTube or entertain ourselves in some way, play video games, whatever it is we do. Why should I bother? Well, for me, I picture a world and would like to see a better world. For some people, they're just sick of the lies, or maybe simply it's just curiosity. But you'll see as I touch on topics and start to share some dots that I've aligned and other people have aligned, that most of this stuff, if not all, does have significance. Everything connects in one way or another. We like to label things so we can break them down and simplify them. But truth is rarely convenient, and the truth about our existence, the meaning, and the way the world slash universe work may very well be crazier than we want to believe. It might make us feel helpless knowing we're so small for such a big task, or crazy because no one around us shares our beliefs. It's very easy to become discouraged or give up searching for the truth because it seems too daunting and there's too much information. We like to fit in. We want to be loved and respected, and no one likes to be ridiculed or labeled. So most of us take the easy way out and avoid the rabbit hole altogether. Anything that doesn't fit our beliefs, we find a way to dismiss or label conspiracy. Most of us work hard and are busy with family and keeping up with a never-ending stack of bills that we don't want to, or can't in a lot of cases, look into all this stuff. But I put forth to you, we far too often think short-term, and we need to start thinking long-term. This can be said about everything across the spectrum. We need to start standing up for each other and loving one another in our search for knowledge and answers. So that's pretty much an outline of things that I plan on talking about in this podcast. If anybody has any topics that they'd like to add in, I'd be happy to discuss them. I've spent a lot of time researching some of these topics, and I absolutely know there is a lot of misinformation out there, and there's a lot of people being led astray. And a lot of this is calculated and done on purpose, such as I touched on Flat Earth earlier. Now, this was made as a spoof. This was made as a spoof. And the thing is with it is that if you look into Flat Earth, it has a lot of religious elements, number one, mixed into it, and a lot of actual real Earth situations. And the way that the other side uses this is anytime you bring up one of the topics that are in Flat Earth, they'll say, "Oh, you must be a flat earther." It's a ridiculous theory to begin with. The Earth is round. I'm sorry, guys. Anybody out there saying the Earth is flat? Now, I have no doubt that for those people out there that are religious, that look at the Book of Enoch and take it literal, and when they talk about the firmaments and all this, see, that's where they've kind of got people. So they have the religious people in there thinking, well, this theory must be true because it coincides so much with our Bible, and this is a tactics that are used by the other side to lead us astray. So that's why I don't subscribe to organizations. I don't subscribe to religions. I play my part from the fence. I'm on nobody's side and I'm on everybody's side. So here, down here I have the definition of conspiracy. So, a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. Now, just the word conspiracy a lot of us triggers negative emotions, and right away we're like, it can't be true. Why am I gonna even bother looking into it? But listen to the definition: a secret plan by a group to do something unlawful or harmful. If you just listen to the definition, undoubtedly, conspiracies happen daily. People plan to do bad stuff and do bad stuff. You know, a factory dumping its pollutants in the river. You know, you would call that a conspiracy. So, don't be scared away by the word, which brings me to my first topic of the day, which is trigger words. And now I have a question to everybody. Do words trigger you? Do certain words invoke certain emotions? And where does that feeling come from if it wasn't planted? So, I'm not going to say full on that it's brainwashing, but I will say that it is potential brainwashing. And I've even heard some people theorize that it's spells and some kind of witchcraft. But I won't go that far. But I will just say, ask yourself next time you hear a word that triggers an emotion that you're like, oh, that just made me angry for some reason, or made me sad, or made me whatever. It could be a word, it could be a phrase. So just keep an eye out for it, and next time it happens to you, ask yourself, is this something I should really be angry about? Is this is this me that's being angry, or is this because I've been hearing certain things said over and over again? You know? Do I really feel that strongly that I should have that kind of emotional reaction? And another question is, where does our language come from? And what are the root words? You know, so has our language been fiddled around with to, have certain emotions from certain syllables? I'm not saying it does, but I'm saying these are questions that, are worth asking and worth thinking about. My next topic, mantras, positive words, and reminding ourselves how great we are. So now, these are my topics of the week. Every week it'll change, but remind ourselves of how great we are. I think that's a very, very important one. We're bombarded with negative all the time. So once in a while, just remind yourself. Say some nice words to yourself, because saying it out loud has a far different impact than saying it in your head. And I don't know if everybody else is like me, but I beat myself up. I'm like, I don't know. I'll get into that in a second, but mantras and positive words. So say, I am good, I am great. Tell yourself that, because there's a lot of positive energy that goes out with that, and a lot of positive energy that comes in. So for me, the reason I beat myself up, I think, is partly due because I believe a big ego is a bad trait, and it enables a lot of it enables selfishness. It enables you to be cruel, enables you to be closed-minded. And if you're always thinking I'm intelligent and you have all the answers, then it's going to impede you from learning. So my stance on that is to stay humble. Now, I don't think you should go through the rigmarole of beating yourself up, but because I think there's a difference between confidence, self-confidence, and staying humble. And then the other part of it is, like I said before, is that negative influences we're bombarded with constantly. we're constantly told that we're not good enough or what we have isn't good enough, and so that we'll consume more, which from a business point of view makes sense, but from a psychological point of view, I think our society dismisses the impact of that, and so to balance the negative with the positive, remind yourself you're great. And at the end, I have a small little poem that we'll get to. Some just to give you some ideas of things you could say. So my two songs and of the week: Bare Naked Ladies, Lovers in a Dangerous Time. Now, this is actually not a Bare Naked Ladies original. This is them doing a cover. The original's good too, but to be honest, they just do such a phenomenal job with the song. Their harmonies, those two guys that sing for the Bare Naked Ladies, they're unbelievably talented. One of my favorite lines from the song is, "You've got to kick at the darkness until it bleeds daylight." And I mean, I think that metaphor can be applied pretty widely. So I think that's a great line. And the sentiment in that song that I get from it, anyways, is that feeling that I think we've all had at one point or another. That what kind of world is this to bring up kids or have a family in? And the message of the song is it's reminding us that, you know what, there's always place for love, there's always time for love. So even as hectic as the world is, there's always place for love. So Bare Naked Ladies, Lovers in a Dangerous Time. And my next song is Typhoon, Young Fathers. Now this is from their White Lighter album, which for me is my personal favorite album of all time. I wouldn't go as far to say, oh, this is the best album, but for me, when you want to be reflective and you just want to go on a roller coaster of emotions and ideas, and I mean, it's very, very uplifting music. My favorite line from this particular song is, "Now I'm as old as you were when you had me. Should I be afraid? Should I start a family?" It's for me, it was I heard this song around the time that I was starting to become the age when my mother had me, and so it just and it's also kind of the same message as Lovers in a Dangerous Time is, you know, should I be afraid or should I start a family in such a crazy world? So I think that's kind of my message of the week, is there's always a time and place for love. And speaking of my mother having me, I alluded maybe in my last podcast of the tough time me and my family have had this year. And I lost my mother this year, and I just want to take a moment to say that she was a great lady, a beautiful and kind person, and I think any friends and family out there that knew her, we all miss her dearly. So lots to love to her, and all we can do is try and heal, and look at the positives in life, look at the positives that she left me, and try and heal and move on. So I have here a couple, this is just it turned into a poem, but originally it was just a couple phrases and lines to remind yourself how great you are, and remind yourself. So if you'd like, you could read along with me. If not, maybe it's weird, maybe you have other people in the room, whatever. Just bear these ideas in mind, and next time you have a moment to yourself, take a second and tell yourself some of these things. So if you'd like to, here we go. I am good. I am the best me there is, was, and ever will be. I am better today than I was yesterday, and I'll be better tomorrow than I was today. I will give love, and I will be loved. I will give respect, and I will be respected. I am the GOAT, greatest of all time me. I will overcome all obstacles. Walls are paper, and mountains are anthills. Oceans are but puddles. And though the path may wind, nothing can obstruct. No element, no man, no organization, no ideology. I will persevere, I will endure, I will continue to mature. No one is perfect, no one has all the answers, but I will strive to be better. Better than yesterday, and even better tomorrow still. Hypocrisies will not be my undoing. Our paths are traveled in small steps. Fault lines may shake the path, but I won't be shaken off my path. I am strong, I am courageous, and I will overcome. So, this is much longer than you have to have for a mantra or anything like that. But even just saying, I am good. I am the best I can be. I'm doing the best with what I have. And maybe you're not. Maybe it doesn't matter. Lie to yourself. Because if you can convince yourself of that lie, then you will live it. So, and not only that, it's the positive energy that flows from telling yourself these things. So just take yourself, take a minute, remind yourself of, you're not in this alone, you're great, don't worry, we'll get there. So, I'll play a song for you guys. This is a song I wrote a long time ago. I don't believe I have a video of it out, so here we go. No one shut my mouth, let my jaw drop to the south end. Now the truth is out, I see your evil and there's no doubt. And I see the blood pouring out, just like a fountain. Gonna climb till I get to the top of the treacherous mountain. Can't keep me down, oh, 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 oh. Can't keep me down. I see your eye watching from the top of the pyramid. You think our lives hold value, but not yours gonna get. This message goes out to the working class. I think it's about time we got off our ass. Look around what has come to pass. How long you think our freedom will last? Let our government be enacted out by an evil cast. No one shut my mouth, let my jaw drop to the south end. Now the truth is out, I see your evil and there's no doubt. And I see the blood pouring out, just like a fountain. Gonna climb till I get to the top of the treacherous mountain. Can't keep me down, oh, 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 oh. Can't keep me down. Can't keep us down, oh, 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 oh. Can't keep us down. So, that song, I'll say, is a little bit more aggressive than my normal nature. I'm very laid back as an individual, but I think far too often the wool's pulling over our eyes as the average person, and you know, far too often we're misled to pointing as the middle class our fingers towards the lower class and towards the middle class, and it's a grand spectacle. Look, I mean, we gotta stand up for each other. It's very important that we stand up for each other, start loving each other more, and start respecting our each other's ideas, and giving each other a break. I mean, it's all about intent. It's not about words. Um, I think certain words are dangerous. Definitely. I mean, um, you don't want to lead people to being violent one against one another or stuff like that. So I understand why some people get angry when people say certain things. Um, but it's about intent. So I mean, don't punish that person just because they said what you didn't want them to say. It's, we have to just stick up for each other a bit more. Is all I'm gonna say on that. So yeah, that's pretty much my outline for my podcasts. Um, so if there's any topics that you guys really want me to dig in on, I'll get in there. Like I said, for the conspiracy stuff, I'll pretty much just give you a broad view of what other people are thinking, and I'll give you a bit of my perspective. And if there's any links that are relevant and I think are credible, I'll share the links with you guys. But a lot of this stuff you kind of have to be patient with, and for me, I think there is kind of a bit of a code to knowing what's real and what's not. Now, some of the videos I tend to avoid are the ones that use different sounds, different frequencies that evoke emotions, like I was talking about earlier. Like trigger words could also do. But when you're emphasizing a sound that we know that makes people scared, or know invokes you to be sad, or invokes you to get serious, you know what I mean? You shouldn't have to use that kind of emphasis in your videos if what you're saying is true, and what you're saying, your content should emphasize itself. So you know, so yeah, I just avoid that kind of stuff. I try and stick to if I can, credible scientists and different speeches and different so I won't say that I won't look at anything that's by alternative science or anything like that, because I definitely will. But I think, like I said, when they're using those frequencies, stay away from that, because it's the same thing with music. You shouldn't have to emphasize your music with swearing. I never use swear words, or almost never in my music. I can't really think off the top of my head any songs that I have, because I truly believe that your content should be crazy enough that you're, because the only reason you use swear words is to emphasize something, and if you have to emphasize with swear words, then your content's lacking, in my opinion. You could have worked harder. You could have, and you're also limiting yourself as an artist, because if you're using emphasis on shit or fuck or whatever, you know what I mean? There's some way better words out there. Come on, hit the dictionary a little bit here. If Yeah, like I said, your content should emphasize itself. So, yeah, that's about it. So like I said, if anybody has ideas, I'm completely open game to explore them, and if anybody wants to send links, anything like that, this video right here, if you want to subscribe to my page, whatever, this is going to be a weekly thing. It's going to be like a type of forum that everybody could get in on. And like I said, if you know me personally, hit me up on Facebook, no worries. And so that's it for the week. I love you all. And, we're a bit shorter than the 40-minute mark, but no worries. I talked your guys' ears off enough for this week. So, like I said, you have a brief idea of what I'm going to be going over. The topics today were trigger words. Look out for trigger words. And also remind yourself, use positive words, balance it out. Keep yourself reminding yourself you can do it. You can, whatever it is that you want to do, strive forward. You can do it. I believe in you. Believe in yourself. So lots of love, and catch y'all next week.